20 heavily armed IRS and ATF agents raid Great Falls gun store and seize firearm purchase records. Let's dive into the details, shall we? In an unprecedented move, 20 armed Internal Revenue Service (IRS) and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives (ATF) agents carried out a raid on a gun store in Great Falls, Montana, seizing all Form 4473 documents that record buyers' information during firearm transactions.
A Great Falls gun shop owner says he was targeted by federal agents Wednesday. In fact, he says he's been in the crosshairs of the government for a couple years now.
7:30 I came in and they pulled in behind me with 20 heavily armed agents.
Tom Van Hoos says for 2 years his Highwood Creek Outfitters gun shop has been the subject of surveillance by state and federal agencies, including the FBI, OSHA, Homeland Security, State of Montana, and now the IRS.
So they can't make guns illegal, so they just disincentivize gun store owners by harassing them with federal agencies.
And the fact that they think we make so much money as a gun business that they had to come investigate all the thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, whatever it is we supposedly absconded with. Anybody that knows the margins in the gun business knows they're not that high.
They know he's not making a lot of money in the gun business. They just are trying to harass him so he'll close his store potentially. And more importantly, people hear about this that are looking to open up their own gun shop and they're like, oh no, this is just... Look at what happens to other gun store owners. So that's why I think they do this stuff, so they can have an excuse to shut them down, and then it dissuades other people in the future from opening more gun stores.
Van Hoos says all he was told is that his business had been reported. He doesn't know by who. He thinks it's part of a nationwide pattern and feels it's political.
Reported, but they won't tell him who reported him and what the report was saying. Interesting.
I can only assume that because of the style of weapons that we have, and the press that's so against them, the current administration seems to be hell-bent on getting those guns out of the hands of average Americans.
Again, they can't make the guns illegal, so what do? They just target gun owners for other random stuff and harass them, hoping they'll just shut them down or persuading them to not sell these type of guns. They're like, oh, if you sell ARs, you know what happens.
Tom says the agents were cordial and professional, but still felt invaded and now has lost nearly a whole day's revenue.
I got 30 minutes of operating time in and made one $16 sale.
Yeah, now they just took a day of revenue from him. Another reason to be like, hey, look at what we can do if you do what we don't like.
Van Hoos says his shop has a good relationship with the ATF, which was also present. He says because his shop carries fun guns like AR-15s and AK-47s, their level of licensing draws more scrutiny.
We have a reputation as dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's because there's so much legal fun to be had. It's just not worth doing things that are going to get you in trouble.
So they even have a reputation of making sure all their books are in order and everything. And then they still, this is the place we target because they have guns we don't like.
An IRS spokesperson was only able to confirm the agency was at Highwood Creek on official business.
So all they do is say, okay, yeah, we were there, but we're not going to tell you why. That's so fun, isn't it? They just go and investigate you and do other stuff and bring 20 armed agents in, make you lose a day of revenue, but it was just official business. The recent incident has attracted political attention, with Congressman Matt Rosendale expressing his concern over the IRS and ATF's actions, interpreting them as another example of the Biden regime's weaponization of federal agencies against hardworking Americans. Yeah, definitely. It's like you can't even question that. They're just using all their federal resources to go after everyday people. It's insane. I'm incredibly disturbed by initial reports that the IRS and ATF closed Highway Creek Outfitters without any warning today, the congressman said in a statement. On Friday afternoon, the congressman announced he sent a letter to ATF Director Stephen Diddleback and IRS Commissioner Daniel Werfel asking for answers.
There was 20 IRS agents armed with ARs that stormed this guy's store. Tom Van Hoos, I met with him this morning. I stopped by the store to see if he could give me any more details. And they went through and searched his facility. He said they were polite, but you know, people tend to be a little bit more polite and mannerly when everyone's walking around with an AR threatening them. This is stormtrooper type activity, and we are not used to seeing it in our country whatsoever. And this is the kind of activity that demonstrates why we were trying to, in the House of Representatives, to defund those additional 87,000 IRS agents. Now, here's what they took out. IRS, right? Financial records, accounting, making sure what transactions were taking place. No, they took all of the 4473 forms. The 4473 forms are what everyone fills out when they go to purchase a firearm. And it's just a big disclosure to make sure that you don't have a criminal background or other reasons where you should not be purchasing a firearm. So the IRS took every single one of the 4473s that Tom Van Hoos had in his possession there at Highwood Creek Outfitters. And I am concerned that this is another attempt by the IRS to create a database on people that they can target for being conservatives because they want to own their own firearm.
Yeah, I completely agree with him. They're just going and making a database, and they're going to use it to target people for audits and whatnot. They did something similar under the Obama administration. They, if you donated to certain political candidates or parties, they would use that information on your tax write-off for those donations, and that's who they would go and audit. Yeah, so now they're probably just going to do the same thing. They're going to use these forms and see who buys the most firearms, and that's who they're going to target. Yeah, this is probably the most corrupt administration in history, and they're not even trying to hide it. They're just going in and doing it and not caring about it at all. But, you know, that's just my opinion. What is your opinion on the story? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for daily news updates, hit that notification bell, and share this video to help spread the news. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.